What's up, everybody? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, October 5th, 2018. I cannot believe it's October 5th. Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to go over Bitcoin and Litecoin technical analysis in this video, amongst other things like some tweets that I have open. But really going to jump into Bitcoin and Litecoin technical analysis. And I'm even going to give my thoughts, a prediction on where I think that we might be headed to next. I'm actually going to give my opinion, and I'm just going to put it out there. I don't do it often. You know, that's pretty rare for me to do that. But I thought it would be fun, kind of give my thoughts on where I think the market is heading, at least for the short term. This is short term. And you can get a sense of that in the technical analysis. I'm going to jump into it pretty quickly tonight, but even if you are a replay viewer, just check out the pinned tweet in the comment section, pinned comment in the comment section below, and you can go right to the technical analysis aspect of the video. Before I get into the technical analysis, before I get into the charts, I do just want to kind of give it a couple minutes for some people to get into the chat, because I know it's helpful when I do that. What's up, everybody? We have the police. Drew Blood 21 is here. What's up, Drew Blood? Everybody else, Scotty, Ricky Bobby, Josh Wallace, Bob is here, Brad, Austin, Randy. What's up, everybody? Bladen. Appreciate all you guys coming. Poseidon Lou is here. Poseidon Lou is here. I mean, we have Poseidon Lou and Drew Blood, the two best buds ever out there in Cali, already fighting, already going at each other. Whoever's here right now, thank you for coming by. Friday night, it's a Friday night live stream. For me, it was taco night. I enjoyed a nice taco dinner, one of my faves. And getting ready to go relax. Thought I'd do a live stream, kind of talk about what's going on in the market. And so bad, I just kind of want to get into the charts, but I want to give it a couple minutes, mainly because I'll get into the charts. I'll be 75% done with a bunch of new people in the live stream, and then everybody's going to be asking me what happened. What are your thoughts on technical analysis? But I will go over this right now, which is this tweet that I tweeted earlier, based on a tweet that I had. When was this tweet? I think in April. Anyway, it says, even if 2018 ends up not being correct, right? I'm keeping this tweet pinned because I still stand by it. The next 4 years for crypto is going to be mind-blowing. Is going to see mind-blowing growth. I can't talk tonight. So here's the tweet that I'm talking about in this scenario. I have a $1 trillion market cap by December 2018, which is literally coming up. I have a $4 trillion market cap by December 2020. Winklevoss twins. That number 4 trillion reminds me of Winklevoss twins. I don't think they put a time frame on it, but they said, hey, it could get there. $10 trillion market cap by December 2022. I mean, we're talking, that's around, what is that? That's 4 years away. 4 years away. 4 years. And you remember Dan Moorhead, Pantera Capital, saying 40 trillion is possible. So I think, you know, I think this is pretty conservative. I don't think this is like crazy outlandish. And then I put currently the market cap is at $430 billion. And this was in April. Obviously, market cap's lower than that now. And I said, good job on being here so early. Which, to you right now, if you're here, good job on being here so early. I agree. King Coin, tacos don't exist in Colombia. It's very true. It's very true. I am married to a Colombian, but that's not, we don't eat tacos because it's like her native food, right? We both just like tacos, Mexican tacos. So, yeah, so these are my thoughts. I'm actually kind of curious. I wanted to start, before we got into the technical analysis aspect, anybody that is here right now, I did want to ask you, you know, if you could just kind of put out a number in terms of market cap, right, for the end of 2018. I have $1 trillion here. It might, as of now, it might not happen. This was in April when I posted this. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts in terms of market cap? Like, if you could just throw a number out there right now in the chat below, I would love to see what your thoughts are in terms of where you think the market cap will be. Some of you might think we'll be at like 100 billion market cap, right? Some of you might think we might be going down even further and losing market cap. So I'm curious to see what you think. So Assad 400, James 500 billion, Poseidon Lou 1.5 trillion by the end of the year with King Coin. Same thing, 1.5 trillion. Manny with 500, Mick Bach 500 billion, Rob, Bosi Rob, what's up Rob? 900 billion, almost a trillion there. Wow, we got, it seems like the average is around 500 billion, which I think is it's a nice target. What's up, Gustavo? Mitchell Robertson said 1 trillion would be nuts, but could happen. I agree with that. I think 1 trillion would be nuts at this point. It would be a very quick growth in terms of beings. We only have, what, 2 months till December? That would be nuts. That would be insane. That would be parabolic. We all know it could happen. So I agree with that comment. I like that 500 billion average that I feel like we've been seeing in this chat so far. What's up, Ryan Jack? You're not late. I'm kind of just getting started. I'm stalling. I'm definitely stalling. Even though I did actually take a poll, and here's that tweet the other day. I retweeted this, which was a poll. I said, point taken. I'll take care of it, everyone. Don't you worry. Which is why right now you're only seeing probably 1 live stream a week, maybe 2 if things are moving. But probably 1 live stream a week, probably Thursdays is going to be the live stream schedule, because I took this poll on Twitter as well as YouTube. I said, I've been trying to calibrate YouTube channel to what I think works best, mix reviews about the live streams. And this was the final tally. 72% said, no bueno, live streams. No good. So I'm taking that. I'm taking that as like legit solid feedback from a lot of you out there. And I'm going to continue doing live streams, but Thursdays. So even though it's Friday right now, oh my gosh. All right, everybody, I'm going to jump into my thoughts for the night. I'm going to talk about where I think Bitcoin and Litecoin might be going next. I want to just throw this out there for everybody's eyes to see. Jamal says, don't know, man. Don't know enough about the market yet to be making predictions, brother. Just hoping for the best. Randy says he likes the live streams. I appreciate that. Cripcola, the tacos were amazing. So you're right. Predictions. I talk about predictions all the time, and I'm just like, I don't like predictions. I don't like when people are making predictions. And I just did a video on this yesterday. I don't think it's a good idea. But right now I'm doing a prediction because it's fun. First of all, it makes it more exciting. And we're doing a live stream, so why not go into this weekend with a little prediction? Big deal. My prediction, and I'm going to talk about this in the technical analysis, is that we do have another leg down. And really, I tweeted that actually. I took a poll on that. Where is this poll? I know I took a poll on this. Can't find it. I don't have it up. Yes, I do. Here it is. I said 1 more leg down, and this was October 1st, so 4 or 5 days ago. And 55% agree with me in this, to say that, yeah, 1 more leg down. Now, let's talk about what that looks like. And I'm not, everybody here knows, hopefully, I'm not this bearish dude just doing YouTube videos talking about Bitcoin's going down, because I'm not. But I really do think we're going to test, or at least going to test that $6,000 area at the very least 1 more time. So first, let's start this video with, let's start this video on the weekly chart. 1 more time. You know what? Hold on a second. I have to close this. There we go. All right. We're starting on the weekly because I just want to point something out. There's a ton of triangles on different time frames right now for Bitcoin that have been forming, that I see on YouTube and technical analysis videos. Everybody is following different triangles, but in the general scheme of things, there's like 3 or 4 main ones that everybody's like talking about. So I want to talk about those triangles and what I think is probably the best one to follow, this best pattern. But I'm zoomed out right now on the weekly because I just want to point something out. We have obvious consolidation that's similar to the bear market, and we've talked about this a ton of times on this channel. So the consolidation's happening. Like, there's no secret there, right? So, and going back to this bear market, I could only imagine that even on the smaller time frames, there were similar patterns forming and similar technical analysis videos coming up in terms of triangles, you know, forming and triangles being broken, no matter if it's a long-term triangle, if it's a descending triangle, if it's a symmetrical triangle. Everybody was making these videos, right? And the same thing's happening right now. I see it on YouTube and I see these videos, and it's, I mean, what more can you do? If they're there, they're there. These triangles, whether they're symmetrical, descending, they're consolidation patterns, and Bitcoin is heavily consolidating, right? And the market's just kind of getting very indecisive now in where we think it's going. So I don't know actually why I put step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I probably should have put like support 1, support 2, support 3, support 4, because, and I'm going to zoom in here just so you can get a really good sense of what I have on the screen, because I know it's just a lot of colors, but it's really easy to just kind of look at and understand. And this is the weekly chart, by the way, so bear with me. So right now on this chart, you have this little pink triangle, symmetrical triangle, which we're going to dig into. Boston with a $2.99 super chat. Next taco on me. I appreciate that, Boston. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat. So this pink triangle is, we're going to dig into this on the 4-hour chart in just a few minutes. But just keep it in mind. That's kind of like the shorter term symmetrical triangle that we're in right now. It's like the tip of this long-term consolidation that we're just checking out. We're looking at. I'm tracking, and you might want to as well. And then we have this second triangle, this blue triangle, which I've seen videos on in terms of tracking Bitcoin and what might happen next. So I kind of have that as like step 2. I don't really know why I put step 2. I probably could have picked a better word. And then we have this orange triangle, which is a triangle that I feel like I'm kind of watching most closely. That's kind of my biggest, that's my triangle that I'm watching, this orange one at this point. And I have that marked as step 3. And then this white one is the biggie. This is like the obvious one that has the $6,000 area as support that everybody's talking about. And it's just a long-term, huge descending triangle that a lot of people are talking about. So that's an important one to me as well. And it's actually the one that I think we're going to test again. I think we're gonna test the bottom of this descending triangle at least one more time. So really, for context to this video and what we're about to talk about, that means that in my head, right? And listen, I'm ready for either or. I just want to throw that out there. I'm completely ready if this prediction, this silly prediction that I'm making right now of going back down, if we're wrong and we moon, I'm ready for that, right? So that's why it's fun and it's easy for me to just kind of talk about, hey, I think we're going to go back down. But the key is to be ready for either or, right? That's just, at the end of the day, that is the key. So let's so this is the weekly chart, and my prediction or my guess is that we're going to test down here. I think we're going to test down here around the $6,000 mark, which is this big, huge descending triangle. So let's go to the daily chart and kind of get a sense of what's going on with all of these triangles, because Crypto JP says if we test a descending triangle, we are going way down. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think if we test 6,000 one more time, we're going way down. If we test 6,000 one more time, it could be a setup for a pretty colossal big bull run. If we break $6,000, that's a different story. But that time will tell. And I think we can only be patient and wait. But we have some things going on. And on the daily chart, what I did was, and I don't know if you can notice or not, this orange line I made a little bit bigger, because that's kind of that's the triangle that I'm most aware of right now. For whatever reason, the way I do my technical analysis, that's the one that I'm more aware of right now. So we have some time in terms of, well, what's going to happen next. And let's talk about this. And to talk about this, let's go to the 4-hour chart. So before we get to this orange line, right, let's go to the 4-hour chart. And I just want to get this ready. I'm going to delete the blue triangle. All right, we're going to go check out this pink 4-hour symmetrical triangle first. So to play into the story of the orange triangle that I'm keenly aware of, on the short term, if this is something you want to watch going into the next day or so, you can check out this triangle on the 4-hour right now, right? So we have a pretty clear symmetrical triangle of lower highs and higher lows. And right now we're actually pretty much, I haven't measured it, but right now it looks like probably right around 75% to the apex. I think a move will come shortly. And the question is, are we going to break to the downside of this triangle, break through and test the bottom of my orange triangle? Or, which we just tested the upper trend line here, are we going to break up above and actually make a bull run, right? And just to give you some context, a bull run to the top of my triangle would be, let's see, where is this? A bull run to the top would be a nice 9-10% gain on the short term for me, if I'm putting out there that I think we're going to test $6,000. So that would be a short term run, test the top, and then we'd be back down in terms of like what I'm predicting tonight, right? So right now on the short term, if you really just want to watch something along with me, because this is what I'm watching on my phone tonight, and tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll just take a glance at this 4-hour chart to see where we are. You can check it. You can check out this symmetrical triangle in the 4-hour and track it. So hopping back to the daily chart, let's kind of analyze the orange symmetrical triangle that I have. First off, I think it's a really clear bottom trend line that has formed back since June, right? So like all summer long into fall, we have a pretty nice clear trend line of higher lows, first of all. So I like the formation of this symmetrical triangle. And I don't know why my screen just did that. I like the formation of it, but secondly, it also plays into all the technical analysis that we have done over the last months, all summer long, basically, in terms of the Fibonacci, right? So in terms of Fibonacci on the daily chart, we had a bunch of Fibonacci's of catching resistance and support in this channel of the 618 and 786, right? We've had a bunch of swing highs and swing lows, and I shouldn't say a bunch, but a good amount, enough to create this triangle that created this triangle in the first place. So it's played well into our Fibonacci technical analysis in hitting those key areas of 618 to 786 resistance on Fibonacci. And so in terms of that, we can continue tracking Bitcoin and telling that story within this orange symmetrical triangle that I have on the screen. I just saw we had Andrew subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the subscribe, man. If anybody's in here that's not a subscriber, I would love for you to subscribe and follow along with us. We have an awesome group of people in here, but thanks, Andrew. So playing into the continued move of the symmetrical triangle, what we can continue doing is tracking the Fibonacci's as well to look for support and resistance. So we can take that previous swing high that we had, where we tested like $7,400, $7,500, and we can kind of we can see, well, where's that channel lie as of right now? And you can see right now that 786 to that 618 is a very nice channel of resistance within this orange symmetrical triangle that we're talking about right now, right, on the upside. So on the upside, I am anticipating resistance up here in that $7,100 to $6,900 area if we see some type of short-term bull run. And we've been actually talking about this area since, you know, beginning of September. For a good month, we've been talking about $6,900 to $7,100 resistance area. I'm very aware of this area, and until we break through that, I'm probably not. You're not really going to hear me be very short-term bullish. Everybody knows I'm long-term bullish. I'm accumulating, and I'm definitely no hater of Bitcoin. But that's my resistance area, and it plays very well into this symmetrical triangle, this orange symmetrical triangle. Now, so on the downside, I'm also tracking basically the same thing, right? Now we really didn't get any type of incredible swing high from that low, but we can still take that previous high that we did have, and we can just kind of get an idea. Well, where's the Fibonacci in terms of that previous swing high that we had, right? After we bounced off the bottom here. Well, that Fibonacci 618 to 786 resistance is right here, right? So it's right there. Now let me get rid of the Fibonacci because it always makes things hard to see. And there you go. This is literally where my head is at in terms of watching Bitcoin right now. I have a short-term symmetrical triangle in the 4-hour, which we just looked at, which is basically right over here. Here's a short-term symmetrical triangle. And then I have that playing right into the bigger symmetrical triangle, which is the orange lines that you see. And we've literally, if you've been watching this for months, you've watched how we've tracked this symmetrical triangle. We've called resistance and we've called support multiple times, and it's played really nice into technical analysis. So now here we are, very consolidated at the end of this symmetrical triangle, at least towards the end, right? Towards the end of this orange symmetrical triangle. And now, like, we have two areas to look out for. On the upside, if we do have a short-term bull run from where we are, and that's not the right tool. We want the price range. So if we have a short-term bull run, like we said, 8 to 10% on the upside, right? We might see some resistance right along this Fibonacci channel. We have Ken Bos. What's up, Ken Bosak? With a 420 super chat. What's up, man? I met Ken out there in California. We shared. He had some of his bags back in one of the rooms I was doing interviews in, so I got to kind of chat with Ken a little bit out there. Not much, but another Philly guy. That's really cool to see Ken here. Appreciate you coming by, dude. I really do. Thank you for the super chat, man. I hope you're doing well too. So upside resistance, we have Fibonacci, clear Fibonacci channel. The question is, will we get to that point? I don't know. And on the downside, the support is pretty clear with the Fibonacci 618 to 786 on the downside, and we have literally this long-term symmetrical triangle running right through it. So right now, like, that $6,300 area for Bitcoin is huge in terms of support. It's the next biggest support before the ultimate support of $6,000. So right now for me, that's like just the way I'm thinking. I'm tracking this short-term symmetrical triangle. I want to see where we break through on that, first of all, to see, are we going to approach this resistance or this support? And then from there, you know, for instance, if we break the bottom trend line of this triangle, then I'm keenly aware, I'm watching on the edge of my seat, this $6,300, right in the middle of this Fibonacci channel, where we've seen a lot of support, right? We've seen a lot of support over the last few months in that Fibonacci channel. So on the downside, if we break through that channel, this is where I'm saying we're really going to test. We're really going to test $6,000. So for that to happen, there are a couple paths to that happening, and we got a couple new subscriptions. I appreciate everybody out there that's subscribing to the channel. So thanks, Ronald, for that subscribe. And there's really two main paths, right? If we're going to test the 6,000, I could see a short-term bull run where we get a new swing high to test this resistance in the Fibonacci that we're tracking. Be careful if we get a run to that $6,900, $7,100. I say be careful because all I mean is just don't FOMO, right? Especially don't FOMO within this channel. If we get a break through it and we come back down to test it for support, then you can maybe start thinking about accumulation. At least that's when I start thinking about accumulation. That's not financial advice, by the way. So on the downside, if we bounce off of resistance, then that's when we might come back down, retest the bottom of the symmetrical triangle, possibly break it, and test 6,000. So the path to my short-term bullish prediction is either that, where we test resistance here, come back down and test 6,000, short-term resistance. And this could lead into like mid-October, end of October, by the way. We're gonna have to wait a little bit maybe to see if my prediction is even right. And then on the quicker downside, we would have a break through the bottom of this short-term symmetrical triangle, which is right here basically, right? So that would look like we come bounce off the top, which we're at right now. We come down, right? And then we actually break this pretty critical orange symmetrical triangle, which is really the fundamental piece of this technical analysis. And then we come down and test 6,000. So on the daily chart, that would look like this. Right now, from where we are, we come down, we break the bottom of the symmetrical triangle. Mexican Charlie Lee just subscribed. How have you not been subscribed for the last year, dude? That's hilarious. So we come back down through the bottom of this short-term symmetrical triangle, down through the bottom of this foundational symmetrical triangle, and we test 6,000. So either way, that's kind of my thought in terms of Bitcoin. What would that look like on the downside in terms of losses, right? So we can stay on the daily, and I know it's getting messy here on the daily, but we can still see from where we're trading now on the downside, it's about 8 to 9% on the downside for Bitcoin just to go down and test $6,000 from $6,500, which is where it is right now. So pivoting over to Litecoin, some interesting things happening with that, with Litecoin coinciding with Bitcoin, which is to say, if you look at where Litecoin is right now on the downside, and you kind of go down 10% on the downside, which is the downside for Bitcoin to test 6,000. If you do the same thing, right? If we get a bearish move in the markets, then this leaves Litecoin basically continuing its break through the bottom of this last trend line, right? And hitting its target. And this target right now is at $52. And the target is the length. I always say length. It's the width of this wedge that Litecoin is in. So interestingly enough, the target for Litecoin on the downside, right, of $52 is very synergistic with a $6,000 Bitcoin if Bitcoin were to test $6,000. So those are my thoughts in terms of Bitcoin and Litecoin on the downside, because my prediction, obviously, I put a prediction out there. I said I was going to, so I'm just doing it. And I really do not care if I'm wrong. So my prediction on the downside is $6,000 to test Bitcoin and $52 to test Litecoin. And since Litecoin can be a little bit more volatile, possibly even $50 Litecoin, maybe wicking into the 40s on like on the daily chart. So obviously, the reason why, if I were to predict anything, I'm even predicting downside for Bitcoin, right? And actually testing $6,000 again. And then Litecoin testing $50 again. There's really only one logical reason. It's not, I could easily take a 50% guess, because at the end of the day, anybody making predictions about price they're really taking a guess. You need to be prepared. You really need to watch the momentum of Litecoin and Bitcoin. But the logical reason is because we've been in a bear market, right? Look at Litecoin. The markets have been moving in a very clear direction. You can look at any cryptocurrency. So if you were to guess, if you were forced to predict something, it makes sense then to predict very critical support being tested. And keep in mind, Bitcoin has a very critical support of $6,000, right? And it's very clear. You can zoom out on the weekly, right? Let's zoom out on the weekly, and you can see it. You can see this white line that Bitcoin has. It's a very clear channel of support in this huge triangle, $6,000. And Litecoin, at first glance, you're kind of like, Litecoin doesn't really have anything. Litecoin's just like this one big, ugly, falling wedge looking thing, right? But Litecoin actually does have a critical support, which is it coincides almost perfectly with Bitcoin's $6,000 support, which we just talked about. Litecoin has this crucial support. Look at this. Look how many times we've tested $50. 1, 2, we wicked through it, but closed above it on the daily. And then one more time, we could possibly test $50 again. So for Litecoin to test $50 again is extremely crucial, especially if it's coinciding with Bitcoin testing $6,000. It's like an insanely anxious time for the market right now, especially if you look at the weekly chart on Bitcoin to play into that anxious time. Look at Bitcoin. Look at the stock RSI on Bitcoin right here. It's literally just flat right now. It's just up and down for years, right? The stock RSI up and down for years. And then now look at where we are. We're in this insanely indecisive, unknown, edge of your seat, biting your fingernails, crazy place and time. And so right now, I think if it were to go anywhere, if we were to do anything, I feel like testing $6,000 would be it. And that's why I'm throwing that out there. That's kind of my prediction. We're going to test $6,000. We're going to test $50 on Litecoin again. And those are my thoughts. And if at the end of the day, Bitcoin moons and Litecoin found its bottom right here when it wicked down to $47 and we never see 50s again and we're up and away, then I'll just delete this YouTube video. I'm just kidding. I won't delete this video. I'll be proud to say I was wrong, and you better believe I'll be tweeting it. But I do. I think we're gonna go down a little bit one more time, and if not, just trade sideways a little bit, because that's just kind of what I'm thinking, and I'm totally prepared for that, because you know me, I'm always trying to accumulate in those dips. So those are my thoughts in terms of Bitcoin, Litecoin. I hope you can appreciate that I just maybe threw myself under the bus. I maybe just, not only am I predicting something, but I'm predicting something like bearish to happen. That's like literally the worst way to get likes and subscribes on YouTube. But I did it. I did it. What's up? What's up, everybody? So let's see. Man, we got some peeps in here. We have a lot of you guys. Crypto JP. Crypto JP wants me to look at the MACD. I was taking a look at the MACD earlier. I don't know if he's talking about the MACD on the daily or on the weekly, or I also don't know if he's talking about the Litecoin or Bitcoin MACD. But you can see we did just get a bearish cross. Anthony Williams just subscribed. What's up, Anthony? I appreciate the subscribe. I really do. Thank you, Anthony. We did just get a bearish MACD crossing the signal line on the downside, right? And you can even see on the daily chart, we're under the zero on the histogram as of literally today. So that's interesting. I didn't even see that because I was looking at Bitcoin MACD earlier. So there's Litecoin MACD. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin MACD on the daily chart. I'm kind of curious. I don't think I saw that cross earlier. Yeah, so there was no bearish cross like that with the MACD going below the signal line, the red signal line on the Bitcoin. But one thing is true. You can see when we do get these bullish crosses with the MACD going through that signal line, they're pretty nice and strong, right? They're pretty nice and vertical. Like this last one, right, in August, boom, where we saw a nice run for Bitcoin. But look at this, look how weak this most previous cross was. And it's a sign of consolidation, so it's not like a bearish thing, but there was certainly no real buying pressure or volume, and certainly no momentum playing into Bitcoin in that move, and it faded pretty quickly. So just another thing in terms of momentum, if we're going to look at oscillators, what direction we might fall to, and we might fall to test support. So appreciate Crypto JP telling me to look at the MACD. Good idea. We have East Coast Canada. What's up? John Moore is here. Flat is what gets me excited. Makes it better for payments. Stephen Herzog. John Kim is here. Before a tornado, it's dead calm. That's a good point. We all know John Kim isn't only long-term bullish. John Kim is short-term bullish as well. But that's a good point. Before a tornado, it is calm, right? It's very quiet. It's very calm. And it is very sideways, like we just talked about on the stock RSI. On the weekly chart, and you can just see it. There it is. Is this the calm before the storm that John Kim is talking about? That little green straight consolidation line. It possibly could be. The Hive Channel 7, what's up? So very, very interesting stuff going on right now. Everybody's got mixed feelings in terms of where we're going. And those were just my thoughts, right? We've obviously been tracking these patterns for a while now. I did see a comment in the chat. If you look at Litecoin, another thing playing into possible bearish move on the downside to a $50, maybe test $50, is the fact that we never got that breakthrough that we've just been tracking forever, which is the 50 EMA breakthrough. I saw a comment about the 50 EMA, or at least the EMA. I'm not sure who made it. I lost it, but it's a good point to bring up because we've been tracking this 50 EMA, this blue line on the downside, right, as just constant resistance for Litecoin. And basically like a week ago, whenever it was, the end of September, it almost looked like we were about to break above the 50 EMA for the first time finally and see support above it, but we didn't. And we talked about how critical it was for us to see that. And it didn't happen. We failed. We got more rejection again at that like $63 area, right there. And we fell right below the 50 EMA again. And the question is, if we do even make a run to test the bottom of this pretty critical wedge that Litecoin was in, we're going to test the 50 EMA. And so it's a very critical area to look for in terms of approaching that area. Ryan Farnsworth, thanks for subscribing. And whoever just subscribed, thank you. I missed it, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you both. So if we make a run to the 50 EMA on the upside for Litecoin, it's very possible we still hit our target on the downside. So we could very easily test $60, $61 in the next day or so, but make a final run down to our target of around $52, if not 50, to test that area. So it's just things to be aware of, just things to be ready for, because as we all know, anything can happen in this crazy market. I think at the end of the day, if you can just check your portfolio and just be like, hey, I'm happy with my portfolio. Even if we go down, I'm ready to buy more. And if we go up, I'm just going to enjoy the ride. If you can get yourself, like, that's the end goal, right? The goal is never to make predictions, even though I've made a prediction in this video. The goal is never to make predictions. It's just to kind of, you know, going into the end of your day, be like, hey, I like my portfolio. I don't care if we go down or up, I'm happy. And if we go down or up, I'm ready for either or. That's it. That's all. That's life too. Just anticipate everything. Anticipate everything. Wendell, what's up? Vincent Catanzaro says, what happens if we close above it for the first time in a long time on the 50 EMA? So, I mean, it's a good question because it plays into my mindset a lot in terms of doing technical analysis. Everybody here knows I follow EMAs closely, the 200 and the 50, especially for looking at, you know, being way oversold away from the 50 EMA or the 200 EMA, right? Those are pretty big targets for me. So in terms of if Litecoin were to break above the 50 EMA, it's like that first hurdle. It's that first little mini win of success for Litecoin in terms of finding its bottom. It's just very illustrated in the 50 EMA, because what you'll see is if Litecoin breaks through the 50 EMA and then begins to see support above the 50 EMA, and here's the 50 EMA line, this blue line, I'm going to draw in green. So like if Litecoin begins seeing support above the 50 EMA, you're going to start basically seeing what you want to see in a bullish market and what you do see. You can go back and look at any bullish market. You can go back and look at any bullish trend reversal, and you'll see what happens is the 50 EMA kind of makes a U-turn and begins going back up. And it's very illustrated when you start seeing higher highs and higher lows in something like Litecoin trading. So that's kind of what it would look like, and it just hasn't happened yet. But it's an extremely bullish indicator, personally, for Litecoin. Not for, I mean, you can't just go to any chart and look at the 50 EMA, but it's just how I've been personally tracking Litecoin. That 50 EMA is a very big indicator. It's a very big hurdle in terms of Litecoin finding its bottom. Obviously, and this is Bitcoin on the daily chart. I wonder if I can get to a cleaner Bitcoin chart. Here you go. So Bitcoin on the daily chart is kind of the same thing. It's just not as drastic. One thing, and we talked about this, I think last week in a video, was something that Bitcoin has done is it really just, and it plays really good into that stock RSI trading sideways, is it's just consolidated so heavily, wrapping right around the 50 EMA right now. And that really plays into the indecisiveness. I mean, just look at the sideways trading for Bitcoin. So also very important to watch though on Bitcoin for its reversal is that first hurdle of the 50 EMA. And it's something that we have to track as well. So, but for some reason, I just think it's an even more powerful move in terms of Litecoin breaking above that 50 EMA and staying above it. Litecoin or Bitcoin has some really, really clear reversal resistance areas for itself. $8,500 is one, and then $10,000 is another one. But for that to happen, obviously, we need to go back to our symmetrical triangle that we were looking at and first break that. Well, we already know what the area is. It's a $6,900 to $7,100 area. So that is the first area of resistance in terms of, and I'm trying to find my rectangle. So the first area of resistance for Bitcoin would be right here. $7,100 to $6,900. Just right about that. It's not perfect. That's that first area. If we can break above that, the next point of context, the next point of support would be the 50 EMA, which is right here. So boom, it would look something like this. We break, we get above, we break through that key area of resistance. We would look for a retracement back down, and then support might be around this 50 EMA for a bounce back up, and that would be the beginning of the story of higher lows and higher highs, right? So that's just how the markets move. It's how patterns form themselves, and it's like while they are predictable, right? Like if we were to enter a bull market, it's pretty certain that it will look something like that. It's impossible to say, well, we're about to do that, right? It's impossible. Nobody can say which direction we're going. So that's that. We have some people. We have a bunch of you just chatting away. So appreciate everybody coming by today. I had a couple tweets up I think I wanted to just kind of go over that I wanted to really just talk to you about. Anybody that's interested in following along with some tweets, which is this first one. Yeah, so I said if there was no money to be made, and this is like something I really wanted to talk to you about. I think it's important. I think it's very important. I like to, in life, like I like to I just cut through pretense, right? And just be blunt, just like be honest and get to it. I said if there was no money to be made in cryptocurrency, most people wouldn't be here. I would have never bought Bitcoin almost 2 years ago. I also think the massive opportunity for long-term wealth is what creates a lot of passion in the space. And so 2 points here. Number one, and I'm bringing this up because I want to see if you all agree with me or if I'm just like I'm some outsider. I got into Bitcoin. I got into cryptocurrency because I wanted to make money. There was no other reason. I thought, okay, I mean that's cool, like digital currency, right? I got it. I get it. It was cool for me. But I literally 100% the only reason I got into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, almost 2 years ago was because I wanted to make money. I'm an entrepreneur, right? I've been an entrepreneur for like over 10 years now, and I wanted to make money. And sometimes, there's a lot of people that I think, put out there maybe that they're only in it for the technology. And, I think it's important to put myself out there at least to say, hey, listen, the doorway for me was to make money. And then secondly, the massive opportunity for long-term wealth is what creates a lot of passion in the space. This is something I also wanted to talk about real quick because this applies to business as well. And this is just something I've learned. I've seen business owners start a business that they weren't that excited about, right? But they saw some opportunity there. And maybe years in, as it started growing, there started to be success. They became extremely passionate about this thing that once never really intrigued them. They became passionate about it because it made them money, first of all, and secondly, it set their future up to make more money, right? And I think a similar thing has happened in cryptocurrency, where a lot of people, thanks Abdul Yusuf for subscribing, appreciate it. I think a lot of people, I think 95% of people, and tell me if I'm wrong, got into cryptocurrency to make money, number one. And number two, they're getting excited about it. They're getting passionate about it because they can make money and they've already made money and they want to make more money. So I think it's extremely, I think it's extremely important. Gnome G just subscribed. Thank you, Gnome. I just think it's important to be honest about it. That's all. I like to cut right through the pretense, like talk real. Most of us got into cryptocurrency to make money. Most of us are still here because we're making money and want to make more money. But there's a huge important intersection in that to say that cryptocurrency is important, right? And I've become passionate about it because of its importance. I become passionate about it because I'm a recruiter in the space, and I built some like crazy cool relationships with clients and candidates, and it's been really fun for me, and I'm passionate about that. But it really is, like, cryptocurrency can be foundational to our futures, right? To our kids, to our grandkids, in terms of how they live in this world. So that aspect of passion intercedes with what got us here in the first place, which is to make money. And I think it's good to have that like general framework to our discussion. I never want to look like some dude out there in crypto land that is just like kind of, I'm here for it because, I'm excited and because I like the technology. I kind of want to be honest about that. But passion is a big part of it for me. And then I think I wanted to end with that tweet. Yes. So I want to end with this tweet, which is to say, Litecoin is going to make massive gains on Bitcoin when next bull market approaches. So I can actually probably I'm going to pull up the Litecoin Bitcoin pair. And I can't believe this is the weekly. I guess we can use the weekly. Here's the LTC BTC pair. So, and it's very zoomed out. And there it is. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 2 months at this bottom here, towards this bottom. Litecoin kind of holding strong, right? Even in the last 2 months of just crazy volatility, Litecoin didn't continue its downtrend. Could it have one more leg down? Absolutely. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it found its bottom. It could have one more leg down. We could test this low over here. But I think in the general scheme of things, in terms of Litecoin, what it's doing with adoption, what it's doing with the community, and just the technology itself and how it's going to be integrated into payment systems, Litecoin is so smooth right now. Litecoin is so strong right now, in my opinion, in terms of like, if you want to get into a cryptocurrency, it's one of the reasons it's basically my favorite besides Bitcoin. Litecoin is literally the go-to. Litecoin is that cryptocurrency. Has so much strength behind it because of its usability in terms of the real world, and it's happening. Poseidon Lou, super chat. What are you doing, dude? You know you don't have to. Come on, man. Poseidon Lou, I love your new your new picture. Appreciate the super chat, Poseidon Lou. What's cool is I always think about you, man, because every time I put those shoes on, which I wear them probably every day, I'm always thinking of you, man. I'm always thinking of you. I really appreciate the super chat, and I appreciate those shoes. Drew Blood 21 getting mad. He said, Lou, what are you doing? So my point is, with this tweet was, in this next bull market, Litecoin is going to, I think, make some really nice gains in terms of the LTC BTC pair. You know, we've been there. I mean, if you just look at this top, like we've been there multiple times. Truly believe not only will we retest this top, right? I think we'll break it. I really do. I think you're going to see some really nice strength with Litecoin in the coming months, in the coming bull market. So, and what's crazy about that tweet is I didn't really think much of it when I wrote it, and then it got some good. It definitely got some good traction, and we have a lot of feedback in terms of the tweet. Some pretty much agreeing, most actually agreeing with me, but some also just being like, well, when's this going to happen? And look, any idea when, Luigi? No, Luigi, I don't know when. I really don't. Robert Williams, not happy with me because I was pretty vague. I guess he wanted a date stamp, time stamp. So, Gara 1106 subscribe. Thank you. Thank you for the subscribe. All of you, thank you for kind of hanging out with me on this Friday night. I think we got some nice technical analysis done. Hopefully I didn't, you know, bum anybody out by being like, hey, I think we might be seeing another short-term leg down. But you all know, I'm long-term bullish, and I think we'll be going back up. Benjamin7 super chat $4.99. Thanks, Benjamin. Says Lou says he can't afford more Litecoin Lotto tickets, but put $20 on super chat. Anyway, when all the gold was gone, people were going for silver. Check that out. Benjamin7, a nice little spin on things. The silver to gold. You know what I did? I had one more tweet that I did want to pull up, which is if you haven't seen this, go check this out. This was, and this is really a quick sum up of the interview, and there's only 2 parts out so far, but it says, in this clip, a narcissist tells a genius he has no clue what he's talking about. And it literally is true. This is what you will experience if you go watch this video. It's the debate that happened between Roger Ver and Charlie Lee, right? In this clip, they discuss Bitcoin's intrinsic value, the name Bcash, and both of their motivations to get involved in cryptocurrency. Half of my weekly mining profit, LOL. Thank you for that super chat, T-Bond3, LTC Bandit. Appreciate that. I really do. I really appreciate that. So, you know, and I wasn't trying to be mean with what I tweeted when I said a narcissist tells a genius he doesn't know what he's talking about. But literally, I can't help but think that, man. Like, I wish Roger Ver would just do something differently that convinces me otherwise. But the way he talks to people, I just don't get it. It seems so undermining and so, I don't know. But he literally sat there and said, Charlie, can I cut you off? I just want to tell you that I don't think you know what you're talking about. And they were talking about intrinsic value. And he even questioned Charlie Lee, and he said, what's your economic background? Like, he asked Charlie Lee what his economic background, what's his background in economics? Because he didn't think that Charlie Lee knew what he was talking about in terms of intrinsic value. Obviously, like, there's so much debate on intrinsic value. Like, it's taking that qualitative and quantitative values and pairing them up, right? Analyzing those things, and then taking qualitative and quantitative and then comparing that to market value, right? And then you coming up with intrinsic value. Like, there's so many different angles that everybody has on these things. Like, what is intrinsic value? What is the intrinsic value of Bitcoin? Everybody like disagrees on what that answer is. And Roger Ver just sat there acting like Charlie's very good answer, by the way, very good answer, was stupid. It just doesn't make sense. And it happened within the first 2 minutes of the interview. And I was like, what the heck? Like, how does that happen? But go watch it. I mean, you can go to, I guess, you know, you can probably just look it up on YouTube, but bitcoin.com official, they're the ones that tweeted it. I probably, you know, I don't know. So go check that out. Unbelievable. All I know is Charlie Lee's a man, and he tore it up. He really did. He did such a good job. So that's it. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about before I ended the live stream. So I'm going to end it there. Appreciate all of you that came by tonight. I know it's Friday nights. I know everybody's busy. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're a replay viewer and you're actually still here, almost an hour in, well played. I really appreciate you. Leave a comment below, your thoughts. Do you think that we're going to go down to $6,000 Bitcoin? Maybe test one more time? That was my prediction for the night. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much. Rob, asking everybody to pound that like button. Before you dip out, smash that like button. Help us get over 100 likes right now as we end this live stream. But also, just have an awesome Friday night. Enjoy yourself. Be safe. Appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you all in the next video, and God bless.